Early last year, I made a video going over the Cartoon Network Iceberg. Now, for those who don't know, an iceberg chart starts at the top with more well-known topics, and the lower it goes, the more obscure it gets. Today, we are going to be doing the Nickelodeon Iceberg, created by Reddit user EqualCampaign3602. So, without further ado, here is the Nickelodeon Iceberg. Nicktoons Unite. Nicktoons Unite was a video game released in 2005 for the PlayStation 2, GameCube, Nintendo DS, and Game Boy Advance. This crossover game is about Plankton taking over Bikini Bottom and several Nicktoons characters teaming up to take him down. The game received mostly mixed reviews when it was released. Different channels. This refers to the several channels that Nickelodeon has that includes Nickelodeon, Nickelodeon 2, Teen Nick, Nicktoons, Nick Jr., Nick Music, and Nick Rewind. SNICK. SNICK, short for Saturday Night Nickelodeon, was a primetime Saturday night block that had shows targeted towards preteens and adults like Clarissa Explains It All, Are You Afraid of the Dark, and All That. SNICK started in August of 1992 and ended in January of 2005. Kids' Choice Awards. This annual award show is where Nickelodeon characters, actors, and shows are given awards, voted on by viewers at home. The award given is a Nickelodeon orange blimp. During the show, there are hijinks, shenanigans, and everything in between, with a lot of slime. Nick at Night. Nick at Night is a nightly block that airs every night on Nickelodeon, similar to Adult Swim that airs on Cartoon Network, although not as mature. The block airs several acquired syndicated shows like Friends, Full House, Seinfeld, and 2.5 Men. The block started in 1985 and continues to air to this date. Green Slime. This refers to the signature slime that is synonymous with the Nickelodeon brand. Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus is a streaming service that hosts many Nickelodeon shows. Launching as CBS All Access in 2014, the service was renamed to Paramount Plus in 2021 after the remerger of CBS and Viacom in 2019. Worldwide Day of Play. The Worldwide Day of Play is an event that would occur every year on Nickelodeon for 3 hours on one day, where they would go off air to encourage children to go outside. The event lasted from 2004 to 2019. Over-reliance on SpongeBob. This refers to Nickelodeon's seemingly over-reliance on SpongeBob, as they air it a lot on the network. Acquired shows. This refers to the shows that Nickelodeon airs that are acquired from other networks. These include Peppa Pig, Paw Patrol, and Power Rangers. Nickelodeon Movies. Nickelodeon Movies is the movie studio for Nickelodeon that produces movies of their shows. Some of their movies include Rugrats in Paris, the SpongeBob Movie, and Barnyard. Oh Yeah Cartoons. Oh Yeah Cartoons was an anthology series that ran from 1998 until 2002. The series was a direct response to Cartoon Network's mega hit, What a Cartoon. The series was responsible for shows like Chalk Zone, My Life as a Teenage Robot, and The Fairly Odd Parents. Stick Stickly. Stick Stickly was the host of Nick in the Afternoon that ran from 1994 to 1998. He was seen in several Teen Nick promos for its The 90s Are All That throwback block. Moose and Z. Moose and Z are the mascots of Noggin, a cable channel turned streaming service. They were a big part of Noggin, but as time has gone on, their presence in the service has gotten smaller and smaller. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is a game that was released on October 5th, 2021. The game is a response to the Super Smash Bros. Series made by Nintendo. The game has received, quote, mixed or average reviews. NFL F-Bomb. On January 10, 2021, Nickelodeon elected to air an NFL wildcard game between the Chicago Bears and the New Orleans Saints. During the game, after 2 penalties, one on each team, Chicago running back Cordell Patterson dropped an F-bomb live on Nickelodeon.
What the fuck?
Exclusive Netflix content. On Netflix, there are several exclusive series and movies on the service that are made by Nickelodeon. These include The Lot House Movie, Invader Zim Enter the Florpus, and Rucker's Modern Life Static Cling. Dreamworks Shows. Dreamworks has created several animated shows for the network, including The Penguins of Madagascar, Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness, and Over the Hedge. Nick Resort. Now, I'm not really sure which one this is talking about, so I'll just do both. On March 9, 2005, the Nickelodeon Family Suites by Holiday Inn, commonly referred to as the Nickelodeon Hotel, previously named the Holiday Inn Family Suites, opened to the public. The hotel was semi-popular up until its debranding back into the Holiday Inn Resort Suites Orlando in 2016. In 2015, shortly before the debranding of the Nick Hotel, Nickelodeon made a partnership with Charisma Hotels, a luxury hotel chain with locations internationally, to build an all-inclusive Nickelodeon resort in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. The resort opened in May of 2016. The second resort opened in Riviera Maya, Mexico in August of 2021, with plans to expand further. Nickelodeon Studios in Orlando, Florida. Opening with the Universal Studios Orlando theme park on June 7, 1990, the Nickelodeon Studios was a walk-through attraction that also acted as a fully functional production studio. The attraction was around 45 minutes long and took guests through the production process at Nickelodeon Studios. However, with the decline of guest attendance in later years, along with the opening of the Nickelodeon Animation Studio in Burbank, California in 1998, and the usage of the Earl Carroll Theater in later years, Nickelodeon Studios was closed and left abandoned for about a year until it was announced that Soundstage 18 would be hosted a Blue Man Group until they left in February of 2021. Currently, Soundstage 18 is vacant and Soundstage 19 is home to Bally Sports, Florida. Crash Nebula. Crash Nebula was an in-universe TV show in The Fairly Odd Parents. The show is about Sprig Spivak, who gets enrolled in the Celestial Academy. The series was going to serve as an origin story to the character of Crash Nebula. Butch Hartman had pitched the idea to Nickelodeon, but was turned down due to having too many similarities to Sky High, a Disney film that was released in July of 2005. Bye Bye Beavers. This episode was meant to be the final episode of The Angry Beavers. The episode was about Norbert getting a letter in the mail saying that the show was cancelled. Throughout the show, they go on to trash talk Nickelodeon and even refer to themselves by their voice actors' names. Towards the end, the two begin to vanish before shouting April Fools, meaning that this wasn't going to be the series finale. The episode was turned down due to a rule that Nickelodeon has, stating that a show cannot allude to the fact that it is ending, despite the show not technically ending. For a while, this episode was believed to be fake, until the full vocal recordings were leaked online, confirming the episode's existence. Sold Doug. Nickelodeon sold the rights to Doug, created by Jim Jenkins and Joe Aaron, to Disney in 1996. Disney proceeded to air the series as Disney's Doug until 1999. Adventure Time pilot. Adventure Time was first pitched to Nickelodeon and was aired on Random Cartoons, but was turned down for being quote-unquote too weird. The series was eventually picked up by Cartoon Network and became a major hit. Nick Gas discontinuation. Nick Gas, short for Nickelodeon Games and Sports for Kids, was a television network that launched in 1999. The network aired more action and sports shows like Double Dare, Legend of the Hidden Temple, and Figure It Out. The network closed in 2007, however, Dish subscribers were able to view the channel until 2009 due to a glitch since the channel was run on autopilot. Hey Arnold, the Jungle Movie. Before the Hey Arnold movie was released, Nickelodeon had plans for another movie titled Hey Arnold, the Jungle Movie. The film would have expanded on Arnold's parents, who was supposedly in San Lorenzo. After the Hey Arnold movie flopped, the film was cancelled. In later years, it picked up steam on the internet, mostly around the blossoming lost media community. Several pieces of media would get leaked over the next few years, as it became one of the most sought-after lost media pieces of all time. In 2016, series creator Craig Bartlett announced that Nickelodeon had revived plans for the Jungle Movie as the film was put back into production. The made-for-TV film was released on November 24, 2017. Sponge on the Run Camp Coral controversies. When the next SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, and a SpongeBob spin-off series, Camp Coral, were announced, it stirred controversy due to the late creator Steven Hillenburg being against the idea of spin-offs. Super Bowl 2019 incident. Staying on the topic of SpongeBob, after the passing of Hillenburg in late 2018, a petition was made to have Sweet Victory, the song from the episode Band Geeks, played during the halftime show of the Super Bowl in 2019. After the petition picked up steam, and even after David Glenn Isley, the original performer of the song, got on board with the idea, many people tuned into the game. When halftime came on, an animation of Squidward was shown, with many believing that this was going to be it. However, the animation went into a performance of Sicko Mode by Travis Scott. Over the next couple of days, Travis and the NFL were both clowned on by users on sites such as Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. DNA Productions. DNA Productions was an animation studio that was responsible for Jimmy Neutron. The studio was founded in 1987 and went defunct in 2006. The production tag at the end of episodes was a monkey saying, "Hi, I'm Paul," with a catchy jingle. That's pretty much it. Oh, I guess people think he's scary. JoJo Siwa board game backlash. In January of 2021, influencer JoJo Siwa released a board game called JoJo's Juice, based off of a series on her YouTube channel. It was a trivia game with several cards with questions. Some of the cards included questions like, have you ever been arrested? Pretty tame for a kid's board game. However, some of the cards included things like, have you learned the art of twerking? Of course, many parents were outraged by it, and the game was pulled from store shelves not long after it was released. Cat Dog Parents. The Season 4 premiere of Cat Dogs was an hour-long special titled Cat Dog and the Great Parents Mystery. In the episode, cat and dog search for and find their parents in a place called Yonderland. Now, these aren't Cat Dog's biological parents, but rather their foster parents. There was a flashback stating that when a volcano erupted and a vortex came out of it, Cat Dog and their parents were separated from each other. All Real Monsters pilot. This unaired pilot was created by Klasky Supo sometime before All Real Monsters started airing in 1994. The episode is believed to have the same plot as the first episode, The Switching Hour. However, this has not been confirmed. Currently, 3 screenshots exist of the pilot and an archived promo of the pilot on the Wayback Machine. Drake and Josh pilot. In 2002, Dan Schneider created a pilot for his 2004 series, Drake and Josh. Supposedly, the pilot follows the same plot as the first episode, Hug Me Brother, but Josh's dad was played by the late Stephen Furst and not Jonathan Goldstein. However, when the series was greenlit, Furst became unavailable for future episodes of the series. The pilot was completely forgotten until Dan Schneider posted screenshots and a now private short video from the pilot on his Dan Warp Twitter account. In 2017, the private video resurfaced by Lost Media Wiki user AFX6010. The pilot featured other minor differences, like the wardrobes and Drake's hair being different. As of September of 2022, the full pilot has yet to surface. Unaired Double Dare episode. There are several episodes of Double Dare that have become lost media, including episodes from the original series, episodes from Super Sloppy Double Dare, and even a test pilot. However, 2 controversial episodes were filmed but never aired and will never air. One episode involved a contestant with osteogenesis imperfecta, also known as brittle bone disease. The condition made his bones much more fragile than normal bones. The kid lied about it on the application to get on the show. During one of the obstacles, the kid broke his arm, with the bone going through the skin. It was so graphic that Mark Summers, the host of Double Dare, had to leave the set because he thought he was going to vomit. The other episode was normal up until the contestant got to the sewer chute. The contestant had slipped on a ladder and fell backwards. The contestant didn't get up for a bit, and Mark thought that the kid had died. Nickelodeon, not wanting a lawsuit since the kid's father was a lawyer, awarded the contestant with that prize, a flat screen TV, and made sure that all future contestants did not have parents that were lawyers. Crybaby Lane. In 2000, Nickelodeon aired a film titled Crybaby Lane on their Snick block. The film was aired once and never again. Rumors circulated around the internet that the film was so scary that viewers complained to the network, and the film was never shown again. However, a Nickelodeon representative stated that the film had just been forgotten, and they re-aired the film in 2011 on Teen Nick. Gak Definition. Nickelodeon and Mattel created a toy named Gak in 1992. The toy is slime that can be mashed and stretched. The term Gak is slang for heroin, but is also used as another word for cocaine. Gibby. Gibby was a spin-off of iCarly that was planned after iCarly's series ended. Dan Schneider had 2 spin-offs planned, one of them being Sam and Cat, which actually happened. The show starred Jeanette McCurdy reprising her role as Sam and Ariana Grande reprising her role as Cat from another Schneider show, Victorious. The show followed the 2 as they started their own babysitting service. The other spin-off did not happen and is way more obscure. This spin-off was to be named Gibby. The show would have followed Gibby, played again by Noah Monk, as he becomes a mentor to 4 middle school students at a recreational center. Dan Schneider even tweeted about him editing the episode, praising Monk's performance. The show was never picked up by Nickelodeon and has since been confirmed canceled. Throughout the years, several pieces of production material have surfaced, including photos, an audition tape for one of the cast members, and even the pilot's script. However, no footage has surfaced yet. Time Capsule. In 1992, Nickelodeon held a ceremony for the burying of a time capsule that was placed outside of the former Nickelodeon studios at Universal Studios in Orlando. Several items were put inside of it, including a Game Boy, a Back to the Future VHS, Twinkies because those can survive anything, and even a piece of the Berlin Wall. The capsule was buried on April 30th, 1992, and was set to be opened on April 30th, 2042. 50 years later. After the Nickelodeon Studios closed in 2005, the capsule was dug up and moved to the Nickelodeon Studios Resort in Orlando until it closed in 2016. The capsule was dug up once again and moved to the Nickelodeon Animation Studio in Burbank, where it remains today. Ned's Declassified Original Pilot. In 2003, a pilot was aired for Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. This pilot had several different changes from what the actual pilot would become. The biggest difference is the character of Boogie, played by Stephen Markarian. However, Daniel Curtis Lee was eventually casted for the role, and the character's name was changed to Cookie. Markarian would get recasted to the role of Albert Warmenheimer. The series was eventually picked up and was continued in 2004, but the pilot has remained unaired since 2003. The pilot also resulted in a rumored on-air episode titled Ned's Locker. In an AMA done in 2015, Devin Warkaiser was asked about the pilot, to which he said he didn't have a copy of it. In 2020, promos surfaced containing clips of the original pilot. The full episode has remained mostly lost, and it is unsure if the Ned's Locker episode even exists. Kablam Episode 29. Kablam was a sketch comedy series that began its run in 1996. The series ran for 4 seasons until its end in 2004. During the series' run, an episode began popping up on episode guides. This episode, named simply Episode 29, was a supposed series finale. The episode's plot surrounded Henry and June ending the comic book series, with June revealing her crush to Henry before saying goodbye to the audience. Now, despite sounding like something literally ripped from Wattpad, the episode remained a popular rumor around the internet until 2015, when Mark Merrick, the creator of the Henry and June segments, confirmed the episode to be fake. He even posted a link on his blog that was titled Episode 29, but when clicked on, would take the viewer to the actual 29th episode. Your logo here. Constant Pain wasn't picked up because of 9/11. Constant Pain was an action short created for Nickelodeon and was planned to be a full series. However, due to the September 11th events, the series was ultimately never picked up. This series was going to have an anime-like art style, which definitely would have stuck out on the network at the time. Squee. Squee was a comic book series created by Jonan Vasquez, the creator of Invader Zim. The series was about a boy named Todd Cassill, who went by the name Squee, as he goes about his life being an introverted kid who is bullied. The series began its run in April of 1997 and ended in May of 1998, with 4 issues being created. There were also plans to create a show based off of the comic, but those plans never came to be. Vegans protested Mr. Meaty. In 2005, Nickelodeon created a puppet series titled Mr. Meaty. The show was about 2 teenagers, Josh and Parker, as they worked their jobs at the fast food restaurant, Mr. Meaty. The series was heavily panned by critics and was even protested by vegan activists, which ultimately led to its cancellation in 2009 after only 2 seasons. Astrology with Squidward. This was a series of interstitials that were created for Nickelodeon in 2000. The shorts would have Squidward tentacles from SpongeBob SquarePants explaining different parts of the zodiac, such as Cancer, Pisces, and Gemini. The shorts stopped being aired in 2001, however resurfaced on Nicktoons in 2002, and stopped being aired altogether in 2005. The shorts became heavily sought after in the coming years around the lost media community. There were 12 shorts believed to have existed, however, SpongeBob storyboard artist Vincent Waller only confirmed 6 of them to exist: Cancer, Taurus, Gemini, Pisces, Sagittarius, and Leo. All 6 of the shorts have been found and uploaded onto YouTube. Welcome to the Wayne 2014 short. Welcome to the Wayne, created by Billy Lopez, started out as 6 4-minute shorts on the Nick app and Nick.com. The shorts started in November of 2014 and ended in December of 2014. The series was eventually picked up and started airing in 2017 before being cancelled in 2019. Just One Bite deleted scene. In the SpongeBob Season 3 episode, Just One Bite, there was a deleted scene from it. The plot of the episode surrounds Squidward finally trying a Krabby Patty, which he enjoys. Squidward believes he needs to hide this from SpongeBob. This leads to him sneaking into the Krusty Krab to get into the Patty Vault. In the original broadcast, Squidward gets to the door and is greeted by a burglar alarm, which is a bucket of gasoline that is triggered by a match. Once Squidward gets into the kitchen, the same thing happens. The episode aired on October 5th, 2001, a little over a month before the September 11th attacks. Although an official explanation was never given by Nickelodeon, the scene was cut. Future reruns opted to keep the first sequence in, cutting out the second, much larger explosion, while other reruns opted to cut both sequences entirely, skipping straight to when Squidward gets to the Patty Vault. Chris Savino fired. In May of 2017, Loud House creator Chris Savino was fired after several allegations of sexual misconduct. Kyle Marshall and Amanda Reina took over his position. Nicktropolis. Nicktropolis was an MMORPG that opened in 2007. The game had you create a character and roam around different areas playing minigames and socializing. The game was rebranded into The Club in 2010, and the game shut down in 2016. Lost Ubi Shorts. Ubi was a series that starred hands as puppets. The series started off as shorts before being given its own series. Out of the 48 shorts created, 31 are found, 5 are partially lost, and 12 are completely lost. SpongeBob Nicktoons Summer Splash. This was a marathon that aired in the summers of 2000 and 2001. The marathon aired shows like Cat Dog, Rocket Power, and Rugrats. Despite having SpongeBob's name in it, the marathon did not air SpongeBob. Me and My Friends. Me and My Friends was a live-action pilot filmed at Nickelodeon Studios in Orlando. If the pilot looks familiar, this series would be turned into an animated series and be given the name The Backyardigans. The pilot was filmed in late 1998, but was declined by Nickelodeon. The series was eventually reworked into The Backyardigans in 2002. The pilot has become extremely sought after in later years. 3 seconds of footage was shown in a Nickelodeon Studios 10-year anniversary video in 2000, and several production stills and concept art has surfaced. Kappa Mikey MTV pilot. Shortly before Kappa Mikey started airing on Nicktoons in 2006, a pitch pilot was created for MTV but was turned down. Only a couple of pictures and some information existed about the pilot, but in July of 2017, producer Sergey Aniskov uploaded the full pilot onto YouTube in low quality. Black Licorice. Black Licorice refers to a flash animation on a Nick.com Clickamajigs series of animations. This one in particular is known for being disturbing. Helga's mom is an alcoholic. This is a theory that Helga's mom in Hey Arnold is an alcoholic. This is because of her slurred speech and how she's always making smoothies, which is a stand-in for alcoholic beverages. SpongeBoy Ahoy. In 1997, Steven Hillenburg and several crew members from Rocko's Modern Life created a pitch pilot for Nickelodeon for SpongeBob SquarePants. This pilot was called SpongeBoy Ahoy. The pilot's plot is rumored to have been the same as Help Wanted, but with several different changes. However, the name was changed to SpongeBob, since the name of SpongeBoy belonged to a kitchen mop. Dora the Explorer pilot. Sometime before Dora the Explorer began airing in 2000, a test pilot was created for the series. Supposedly, the episode follows the same plot as the episode Beaches, but over several significant differences. Mainly, Boots looked entirely different, with yellow fur instead of light gray. Hey Arnold pilot was shown in theater. A pilot of Hey Arnold was made in 1994 and was shown in 1995 after the movie Harriet the Spy. The pilot was very hard to come by, but was released on VHS in 1996. The full episode can be found online. Kurt Cobain Ren and Stimpy song. There is a rumor that Nirvana frontman, the late Kurt Cobain, wanted to write a song for Ren and Stimpy. The only mention of this comes from an interview done by voice actor Billy West. The story goes that Kurt Cobain walked into Spumco's studio and said that he wanted to write a song for the series, but the executives didn't like the song, and John Kay was angered by Kurt's arrogance, so they threw the only recording out. No other account of the story has come out, nor any audio recordings. The next two are together, but I will split them up for the sake of clarification. Pinwheel. Pinwheel was a cable network that started in Columbus, Ohio in 1997. In 1979, the name was changed to Nickelodeon and a new logo was adopted. Pinwheel was the name of a show of the same name, which has become mostly lost. Clockman. Clockman is the name of a short that aired on Pinwheel sometime in the 1980s. A Lost Media Wiki user named Commander Santa first posted about the short, bringing attention to it and asking people to find it. Due to the similarities, the short was believed to have been adapted from The Red Shoes, an old European folk tale. However, in 2017, Lost Media Wiki user Nitrate Nerd ended up finding the short on YouTube under the name O Peredive Sally, which was a Czech film. Ned's Declassified High School Survival Guide. Back when Ned's Declassified ended, a spin-off was planned for the series, which would continue the story with the characters moving out of middle school and into high school, hence the name. A year after Ned's Declassified ended, Devin Werkheiser signed on to a development contract with Nickelodeon and a pilot was shot. However, the series was never picked up by Nickelodeon and was ultimately cancelled. Rumors circulated as to why the series was never picked up. One theory is that the other members of the cast had not signed on, as they were occupied with other projects. Daniel Curtis Lee, who played Cookie, was busy with the Disney series Zeke and Luther, and it was unknown if Lindsay Shaw had even signed on. Ultimately, in a now deleted YouTube video, Werkheiser said that the main reason the show was not going to be made was due to budgeting concerns. The cast members not being available could have played a factor too, but is unlikely since a pilot was shot without Lee nor Shaw. The pilot has not seen the light of day since. Johnny Quasar. The Adventures of Johnny Quasar was a test pitch that was made by DNA Productions in 1995. The test pitch was eventually changed into Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. The pitch was lost for a long time until 2017 when Johnny's voice actor, Hylar H., uploaded the full pitch onto his YouTube channel. Adult spin-off. Ren and Stimpy Adult Party Cartoon was a mostly forgotten spin-off of Ren and Stimpy. This spin-off began airing in 2003 after John K's firing from Nickelodeon. The series aired on Spike TV for 5 episodes, then was cancelled due to poor reception since the series' content was very vulgar. SpongeBob and Terran. In 2017, an unofficial mini-movie was created titled SpongeBob and Terran. The film has become infamous for being pretty bad. The synopsis is also all over the place, reading, quote, "This animated story about the friendship of SpongeBob and Patrick and Terran. It's interesting to know that Bob and his friend Patrick, who traveled to Iran for the first time, catch their attention with their hamburgers until they notice something happening and Mr. Krabs holding a gun at SpongeBob." Very interesting. Yummer. Yummer is a supposed secret character that was found in the game files for SpongeBob Saves the Day. Eventually, it was confirmed by game developers that Yum was a character created in 2010 and was used as a placeholder as it was easily recognizable. The character also became an inside joke around the office. The Loud House movie many delays. In 2017, the Loud House movie was announced for a theatrical release in 2020. However, in 2019, the film was removed from Paramount's release schedule. After Savino was fired in October of 2017, he wouldn't have any involvement in the film. In early 2021, the film was announced to be released on Netflix, and the film was released on August 20th, 2021. It all started when I was born. This is a quote that comes from the season 4 episode of SpongeBob titled Squid Bob Tentacle Pants. This is the final line in the episode. After SpongeBob tries to reverse a machine, the machine breaks and causes Squidward to merge with everyone around him. While at the therapist's office, this is what happens.
So, what seems to be the problem, Mr. Tentacles?
It all started when I was born.
Cuffed Together. Cuffed Together was a rumored lost pilot for Angry Beavers. The episode centered around Norbert and Daggett getting arrested after Daggett destroys an expensive statue. For a long time, the episode was believed to have existed, even some claiming to have seen a Latin American airing. However, the episode was debunked as a fanfiction with the same name was found on the Toon Zone forum from 2001, putting the rumor to rest. Jimmy Neutron Interruption. In the fall of 2001, Nickelodeon aired promotional false interruptions in which Jimmy Neutron from the then upcoming Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius film would appear in the middle of programs and alter the broadcast. Currently, there are 15 interruptions that are known to exist. What do animals do when the humans aren't watching? This is the original advertising tagline for the Back at the Barnyard series. The tagline was used for a test pitch of the series that was made in 2000, 6 years before the Barnyard movie and 7 years before the premiere of the series. The pitch was made by DNA Productions and featured rough, stilted animation. SpongeBob Balloon Thief. This refers to the classic Season 2 episode of SpongeBob Life of Crime, in which SpongeBob and Patrick borrow a balloon from a balloon stand. After it pops, they freak out and run away from Bikini Bottom, believing that they are now hardened criminals. When they turn themselves into the police, they learn that it was Free Balloon Day. Binya Binya. Binya Binya was a character in the Nick Jr. series Gullah Gullah Island, which ran from October of 1994 to April of 1998. A spin-off series was also created named after the character. Timmy Turner, original voice actor. In The Fairly Odd Parents, the original voice actress for Timmy Turner was casted to Mary Kay Bergman, a voice actress who had worked on the South Park movie. However, she unfortunately committed suicide in late 1999, and the role was passed down to Tara Strong. Big Beast Quintet. The Big Beast Quintet was a failed animated pitch to Nickelodeon that was made in 1990 with a targeted premiere for 1991. However, the pilot tested poorly and was forgotten about. A station ID for the network was created with the 5 of them, but the pilot has remained lost as it was never shown to anyone outside of the pitch meeting. The Carmichaels. This was a proposed spin-off of Rugrats that would have focused on Susie Carmichael and her family moving to a new town. However, according to the story, the concept was cancelled to keep the Rugrats growing up together. All Real Monsters movie. A year after All Real Monsters ended in 1997, there was a TV film that was rumored to be in production but was cancelled for being quote-unquote too dark. No screenshots, footage, or audio surfaced of the film, leaving many to question whether the film existed in the first place. In 2016, Klasky Super was contacted via their Facebook page, where they confirmed that the film never entered production to begin with. Thunder Lizards. Like the Big Beast Quintet, this was a pitch to Nickelodeon. However, there is much more information about this one, and even the full pitch is available. The pitch was made in 1990 by Joey Album and was based off of the previously created Doo-Wop-A-Saur Station ID. The pitch is around 6 minutes long and focuses on a trio of dinosaurs who are in a band with a lazy pterodactyl roadie. The pilot tested poorly with kids, and attempts to retool the pilot never came to be. Sexual innuendos. This refers to the many sexual innuendos in Nickelodeon shows, like the infamous prison rape joke made by SpongeBob or when Rocco worked at a sex hotline. Mr. Krabs' Bloodlust. This refers to YouTube poop named Mr. Krabs' Unquenchable Bloodlust, created by Emperor Lemon in the early 2010s. The YTP paints Mr. Krabs as a deranged serial killer who kills Squidward and then tries to kill SpongeBob before he suicide bombs himself. Rugrats Preschool Days. Rugrats Preschool Days, also known as Angelica and Susie's Preschool Days, was a short-lived miniseries spin-off of Rugrats that only lasted 4 episodes before ending. The series followed Angelica and Susie's adventure through preschool, hence the title. SpongeBob Blink-182 music video. From 2004 to 2005, MTV2 ran a series named Video Mods. These would be songs that would have characters from video games making music videos out of them. Some of these included Sid Meier Pirates with All American Rejects' Dirty Little Secret and The Sims Nightlife with Weezer's Beverly Hills. But one of these more infamous ones was a music video of Blink-182's All the Small Things with SpongeBob characters. The assets were reused from the SpongeBob video game Lights Camera Pants, fire game by the way. The video was lost for a long time and hadn't been seen since 2005 until YouTube user Mary Dan recovered it and uploaded it in July of 2021. Nick News. Nick News with Linda Ellerby was a news show on Nickelodeon that allowed kids to learn more about the big issues in the world, such as global warming and racial diversity. The series ran from 1992 until 2015, but was revived in 2021 to be hosted by CBS correspondent Jamie Yuccas. Nick logo turning blue. On March 1st, 2021, Nickelodeon changed all their overlay logos blue to promote the launch of Paramount Plus, which was launching on March 4th. Otis is trans. This refers to a part in the Barnyard movie where it's implied that Otis was at one time a female. I can't find much information on this, but perhaps it was an Easter egg by the producers or it was an actual piece of Otis's character. Ren and Stimpy meets Spider-Man. A Ren and Stimpy Marvel comic depicts Powdered Toast Man fighting Spider-Man. That's pretty much it. Blues Prince. Blues Prince was a pitch pilot for Blue's Clues that was made sometime between 1994 and 1995. There were many small changes, such as Steve having a different shirt and Mr. Salt having a Brooklyn accent instead of the French one that he was given. According to Tess, the children enjoyed it. However, changes were made into the show that we know today. Over the years, Nickelodeon has teased small bits of content from the pilot, including screenshots and clips, bringing more changes to light. The Weasel Patrol. This was a Nicktoons pilot that was created in 1990 based off of a comic of the same name. Apparently, the test went very negatively, with one 9-year-old boy even saying that he would rather watch a blank television screen. Ouch. According to some, the pilot was a mix of several of the comics' stories, which made the story confusing and convoluted. Jeanette McCurdy and Ariana Grande hated each other. According to Jeanette McCurdy herself, she was jealous of Ariana Grande's success on their show Sam and Cat. She spoke on the Empty Inside podcast saying, quote, "She's performing at the Grammys and I'm like acting on this show with a box because they decided for that week her character had to be trapped in a box so she can perform at the Grammys." It's unknown if this played a part in the cancellation of the show. The Patakis. The Patakis was a pitched spin-off of Hey Arnold that would have starred Helga Pataki, now 15, going through her life as a teenager. The show would have featured several familiar characters from the original show, except for Arnold, who had moved away. It was theorized by fans that Arnold had gone to San Lorenzo to live with his parents, which meant that this would have taken place after the at the time never made Jungle movie. According to Craig Bartlett, the script was written but was seen as too dark for Nickelodeon. The series was then offered to MTV, but was turned down due to being similar to another one of their shows, Daria. Cosmo and Wanda are antidepressants. This is a popular theory that Cosmo and Wanda, Timmy Turner's godparents, are antidepressants, specifically Zoloft and Prozac. They're there when he needs them, they're there for as long as he needs them, and it must be a secret. And when Timmy misuses their magic, i.e. takes too much, there are consequences. Prometheus and Bob movie. A movie based off of the Kablam segment Prometheus and Bob was planned to be made in 1998. The film never came to be because of lack of interest in the project. Plankton got served. This is a creepypasta surrounding a lost alternate version of the SpongeBob episode One Course Meal. In the real episode, Mr. Krabs torments Plankton after finding out he's afraid of his daughter, Pearl. This drives Plankton to suicide. SpongeBob tells Plankton that it was Pearl and he gets up. In the creepypasta, SpongeBob says the same thing, but Plankton doesn't get up and he is hit by a bus. Plankton finds himself on a dark platform, with his family members calling for him to jump down. He does and the episode ends. It's implied that Plankton went to hell with his family members. The Journey of Ellen Strange. This was a series that ran on Nickelodeon from November of 1997 to April of 2000. The series focused on an alien from the planet Zelen, played by R.J. Smith, getting stranded on Earth and being adopted by a family, being given a name Alan Strange, which gives us the title. Life Sucks. This is a personal entry, but I believe it should have been on here. Life Sucks was going to be a supposed 7th episode of Ren and Stimpy adult party cartoon, but due to low ratings, the show was cancelled before the episode was made. According to those that worked on the episode, they proclaimed it to be the best Ren and Stimpy episode ever made. The episode centered around nihilistic and pessimistic themes, hence the title, although the full synopsis has not yet surfaced. The episode was storyboarded before its cancellation, with no of the production material surfacing. Supposedly, the episode was going to be in the original series before being made for Adult Party Cartoon, and that it was going to be a prequel to the second episode of Adult Party Cartoon, Ren Seeks Help. There were also plans to make this a full TV movie before being turned into a regular episode. Nickelodeon Slam. This was a blog on Nickelodeon that focused on action shows, which competed with Cartoon Network's Toonami block. This block lasted from August of 2002 to March of 2003 and aired shows such as Invader Zim, Speed Racer X, and Super Duper Sumos. Nick Studio 10. This was a short-lived block on Nickelodeon that ran from February to June of 2013. During this block, several interstitials would air starring 4 actors, Troy Doherty, Noah Grossman, Malika Samuel, and Gabrielle Sen. The block was infamous for their Fart in a Jar short. Looney Tunes on Nick. Looney Tunes aired on Nickelodeon from September of 1988 to September of 1999. They aired about a half hour to an hour at a time. Splat. This was a game show that ran from March to August of 2004. This was a series of interstitials that ran on a network. 3 colored teams would have to complete tasks to win prizes, with the audience being able to interact with the show at home. The contestants chosen were audience members and guests from Universal Orlando. Staying on the topic, this was the last show to be filmed at Nickelodeon Studios Orlando before closing in April of 2005. Brain Surge. Brain Surge was a game show that ran for 3 seasons from September 2009 to May 2014. The show was hosted by Jeff Sutphin. There were 3 stages: Brain Tease, which was a series of visual puzzles, Brain Fart, where the contestants would be told a story and they'd have to remember parts of it, the Knockout, which was a memory game between the final 2 but wasn't counted as a real stage, and the Brain Trip, which contestants had to memorize a path and go through it. The contestants would have to go down the Brain Drain if they lost, which was a slide with foam, and they would be sent home with a consolation prize. The series was cancelled in 2014, but ended up being nominated for a Daytime Emmy in 2012, but lost to Jeopardy! Spectrum dropping Nick. Back in 2017, cable network Spectrum was set to drop Nickelodeon and 22 more Viacom-affiliated channels due to an agreement not being met between the 2 that aired those channels. You probably remember those commercials that aired on Nickelodeon that encouraged you to call Viacom to save the network. However, a deal was reached between them in October of that year. Red Mist. Red Mist, known better as Squidward Suicide, is a popular Lost episode creepypasta in which Squidward bombs a concert and kills himself via a shotgun. Throughout the episode, 5 photos of dead children are shown in varying levels of gruesomeness. Surprisingly, the creepypasta was referenced in the actual SpongeBob series in the season 12 episode SpongeBob in Random Land when Squidward opens a door. Unfortunately, the series was cut for future airings due to quote-unquote standards and practices and was replaced with a small clip of a baby Squidward. Lewd images found in the files of SpongeBob Super Sponge. In the game files of SpongeBob Super Sponge, there is a series of images titled Naughty 01 to 03.jpg. These images depict SpongeBob humping Patrick, Patrick humping Sandy, and a dominatrix SpongeBob. Additionally, there is a .doc file named SpongeBob shitlist.doc. Bloody Gur. Bloody Gur is an Easter egg that is found throughout the Invader Zim series. The image came when illustrator Chris Graham drew the character on a whim. Eventually, with the assistance of director Steve Russell, he was able to sneak the character into the episode Bad Bad Rubber Piggy. Since then, it has been confirmed to appear in one other episode, Murder's Their Soul Stealer, and has been thought to appear in episodes such as Hobo 13 and Future Dib. Shrek 2 Sneak Peek. On May 18, 2004, Nickelodeon aired the first 5 minutes of the at the time unreleased Shrek 2 film the night before it was to hit theaters. Super Y pilot. In 1999, 8 years before Super Y became a real series, the show was pitched and greenlit for a full series before being cancelled for another Nick Jr. show, Oswald. The show re-entered production in 2004 and was pitched to PBS Kids, which got greenlit into the series we know today. Currently, a couple screenshots and the full pilot's audio is available. Many drastic changes were present in the pilot and what the show would ultimately become. Most drastically, the character of Wyatt, who was going to be purple instead of his normal human color. Stewie the Dog Boy spin-off. Stewie the Dog Boy was a segment on Kablam that featured a dog named Stewie, who went to school by dressing up and behaving as a human. A full series was once planned for it, however was cancelled due to Disney's series Teacher's Pet, which had pretty much the same plot airing around the same time. Lana Vale. Lana Vale was a character in Hey Arnold. She had only one speaking role in the episode Heat, where she talks to Arnold about air conditioning. Throughout the rest of the season, she would only appear in background roles before being scrapped entirely. According to a now-deleted interview with Craig Bartlett, the initial idea was Lana to have a crush on Arnold and to quote-unquote ask him to do favors. Ultimately, this idea never came to be. As Told by Ginger finale never aired in America. The 3-part finale of As Told by Ginger, titled The Wedding Frame, went unaired in the United States but was made available through Paramount Plus in 2021. Legends of the Hidden Temple was made to be almost impossible. This is a rumor that the temple run in Legends of the Hidden Temple was purposely made to be impossible because of the amount of prizes being given out by sponsors. However, the opposite was true. Reportedly, producers would yell directions to the contestants to help them win. Rugrats Boris Kropotkin. Boris Kropotkin, Tommy Pickles' grandfather in Rugrats, is of Russian Jewish descent. Boris, along with Tommy's grandmother Minka, follow traditional Ashkenazi Jewish beliefs. Throughout the series, the Pickles family partake in major holidays that are celebrated by the Jewish population. The Anti-Defamation League criticized the 1998 Rugrats comic strip and Boris's portrayal in it, claiming it to be promoting anti-Semitism. Making Fiends was cancelled before airing. This was a rumor that the series Making Fiends was cancelled before it even started airing, which hasn't been confirmed. Ren and Stimpy reference in Nintendo Power. I'm pretty sure this refers to the several references to Ren and Stimpy, including ads for Ren and Stimpy games and even a poster. VeggieTales was pitched as one of the original Nicktoons. VeggieTales was originally going to be one of the original Nicktoons, but was turned down since Nickelodeon quote-unquote wasn't interested in computer animated shows. How the times have changed. Gory/sexual SpongeBob YTP. This refers to the many gory and sexual SpongeBob YouTube poops that exist, which include but are not limited to Emperor Lemon's Spinge Bill series. Reports of a Squidward spin-off. In November of 2019, news broke that Squidward was to be getting his own spin-off series. However, in September of 2020, SpongeBob storyboard artist Vincent Waller confirmed that this spin-off was not in production at the time. However, in September of 2021, a Nickelodeon and Netflix deal was made which included a Squidward spin-off, so there is still potential for one. January 22nd, 2021. This date was the first day in 14 years that an episode of SpongeBob didn't air on Nickelodeon. That's pretty much it. Gregory's Room. Gregory's Room is a creepypasta that centers around an old Nick Jr. pilot from 1999. The pilot features Gregory, describing how he will keep the viewer entertained. The episode gets more disturbing as you continue to watch it. Happy Appy. This is another personal edition, but since Gregory's Room is on here, I might as well put this on here. Happy Appy is a creepypasta that centers on a man named Gerasim Yakovlev, who discovers Happy Appy, a lost Nick Jr. series from the 1990s. At first, the series doesn't seem bad as he helps injured kids. The final episode is where things take a darker turn, which depicts a tragedy that bears a striking resemblance to the 9/11 attacks, a few years before it actually happened, with a kid being crushed by debris. Throughout the course of the story, Gerasim is stalked by a creature he dubs Forensic. He uncovers secrets about the show, the creator, and the creature stalking him over the series. I don't want to spoil the series as it's a good read, but the whole thing plays out in a series of blog posts. There are 3 sequels to the story: Fright House Screamers, which focuses on a show that aired on Nickelodeon in 2000, Forensic, which is a biography of the creature, and Dumb Angel, which is a direct sequel to the Happy Appy story. Nickelodeon going off the air for the Black Lives Matter movement. On June 8, 2020, Nickelodeon went off air for 8 minutes and 46 seconds to protest the killing of George Floyd, an African-American man, at the hands of police officer Derek Chauvin. At the beginning of the interruption, they broadcasted a message before showing a video with the text, "I can't breathe," referencing the quote that Floyd repeated as Chauvin detained him. Kids' Choice Awards are rigged. This refers to a tweet made by Gravity Falls creator Alex Hirsch, in which he claims that the Kids' Choice Awards are rigged, since the winner of Best Cartoon that year, 2016, was SpongeBob. Honestly, I think he does have a point, since SpongeBob has won, as of the recording of this video, for the past 14 years in a row, beating out other great shows such as Alex Hirsch's show, Gravity Falls, Phineas and Ferb, and Ed, Edd and Eddy. SpongeBob popularity killed off other shows. This is a rumor that SpongeBob's dominance over the network killed off other shows such as Harvey Beaks, since they weren't mega hits out of the gate like SpongeBob was. Rugrats Incredible. This is a partially lost storyboard jam for the Rugrats. As I mentioned in my Cartoon Network Iceberg with Puffy Yumi, a storyboard jam is where several artists in a studio pass around a storyboard paper and continue a story to kill downtime. This jam, titled Incredible, depicts abuse, molestation, and even incest. The jam was confiscated by a producer on the Wild Thornberrys, who was disturbed by it. As of now, only 1 page exists online. However, there are more pages known to exist, at least 3 of them, with the story continuing into scenes of Angelica's hands stroking. No, I'm just not gonna read any more of that. Stunt doubles were mistreated. This is a rumor that stunt doubles are mistreated on Nickelodeon. However, I could not find any information on this. Dora preteen controversy. The original design for Dora in the Dora's Explorer Girls series stirred controversy from parents claiming that Dora was too skinny and in a suggestive pose. They ended up redesigning her with thicker limbs and a more playful pose. Paw Patrol was almost cancelled. This was a meme that circulated the internet around the time of the 2020 BLM riots, in which it was announced that Paw Patrol was cancelled, supposedly due to the character of Chase, who was a police officer. It got so out of hand that the former White House press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, suggested that it was indeed cancelled. Nickelodeon Guts trophies were not given out. This is a rumor that the Aggro Crag trophies from Nickelodeon Guts were never given to contestants. However, I can't find any proof of this. Actually, the opposite, really. Nickelodeon short that used real animal bones. This is a rumored short film that aired on Nickelodeon in 2001 that used real animal bones as puppets. It's mostly believed that the short was named The Butcher, but this has not been confirmed. Another film known as Butcher's Hook is also believed to be the film, but that has not been confirmed either. Invader Zim Dark Harvest inspired a murder. On October 15, 2005, Scott Dulesky murdered Pamela Vitale, who was found in the entryway for her front door. Shortly after, Dylewski was arrested on suspicion of the murder. Throughout his trial, key testimony would be given, including his girlfriend, who claimed Dylewski spoke about, quote-unquote, breaking the necks of children and, quote-unquote, was curious about how the human body would function without certain organs. The Dark Harvest episode of Invader Zim was brought up in the trial, citing that Dylewski had made comments after watching the episode. Dylewski was found guilty of first-degree murder. However, the at the time 16-year-old Dylewski did not qualify for the death penalty, so he was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The episode was pulled from reruns and has not aired since. Dan Schneider is the father of Jamie Lynn Spears' child. This is my last personal entry here. This is a rumor that Dan Schneider is the real father to Jamie Lynn Spears' first child, which caused the cancellation of Zoe 101. The only mention of this comes from a blog called Crazy Days and Nights, and its owner, NT, a supposed Hollywood lawyer, who is able to predict big events such as Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey. He made this post months before Jamie Lynn announced her pregnancy. Quote, I don't even know how you define what list someone is when they are on some ensemble show watched by teens and preteens, so go with the above and make her a female, make her pregnant, which is causing the producers to have a heart attack because they really don't need any more scandals. But wait, there's more. One of the producers, who is old enough to be her father, shouldn't be having a heart attack because of shock, because he is the one who knocked her up. New boyfriends are being lined up as we speak, unquote. Angelique Bates was abused during her time on All That. During her time on All That, Angelique Bates said that she was, quote-unquote, physically, emotionally, and mentally abused by her mother. She claimed that she was abused in front of several producers and cast members, but no one did anything to stop it. In 1996, CPS was called, but nothing could be done, and said that she was actually pressured into staying quiet, saying, quote, when CPS came in, I was pressured by all the adults that were sent to protect me to stay silent. I did, and I have, but I can no longer stay silent, end quote. Banned episodes. This refers to the many banned episodes of series such as Ren and Stimpy, whose most infamous banned episode, Man's Best Friend, was banned due to violence and cigar references. Oswald and the Osbournes crossover bumpers. Apparently there exists a crossover between Oswald and Ozzy Osbourne, but no material exists of it, only user accounts of it exist. Girl jumps off cruise ship to see SpongeBob. This was an old internet urban legend that a little girl jumped off of a cruise ship because she wanted to see SpongeBob. However, no record of this exists anywhere. SpongeBob SquarePants' real footage theory. This is a joke entry. SpongeBob and the Cave and Patrick get in shape. This is a short animation created by the Stringini brothers in the early 2010s, but was taken down and re-uploaded onto String Anime in 2016. The short is Patrick running around his rock house, and it's pretty disturbing but also a bit funny. SpongeBob gets arrested for owning CP in an SNL parody. In 2003, Saturday Night Live aired a segment titled TV Funhouse, Ex-President's Propaganda. In the segment, SpongeBob is thrown into a cage to be sent to Cuba, and his laptop is searched. On his laptop is a website named Wet Hot Sponges, which is a parody porn website. Nickelodeon airing people's names for birthday calls trolling. Nickelodeon held an event where kids at home would send in their first name and last initial and would be featured on the channel as it was airing. Naturally, this led to some joke names being sent in. Names that were sent in included, but were not limited to, Jotaro, Dio, Giorno, Waluigi, Goku, Sans, Sasuke, and Freddy Fazbear. After they finally realized what was happening after a couple days, they stopped doing it. Nickelodeon 1909. This refers to the name that was given to movie theaters in the early 1900s. The name Nickelodeon comes from the word nickel, as it was only 5 cents for admission, hence the name Nickelodeon. As the feature films started to become the standard, however, Nickelodeons began to decline in later years. Weird Human Hamster Wheel video airing on Nick. In the summer of 2017, a post was made to r/tip of my tongue, which detailed a video that OP had seen on Nickelodeon in the early 2000s. He claimed that it featured fully nude humans walking mindlessly in a field to these giant hamster wheels. To this day, no one has been able to find what they were talking about, and it's unknown if something like this even exists. Nickelodeon Creep Club. And now to the very bottom of the iceberg. The Nickelodeon Creep Club refers to a group of former Nickelodeon workers who ended up getting convicted for crimes or had heavy allegations on them. These include Brian Peck, who is accused of raping a child on set, and Dan Schneider, who was accused of inappropriate behavior. And that is the Nickelodeon Iceberg. It was a long one, much longer than the Cartoon Network one, but there was just a lot more information on this one than the Cartoon Network Iceberg. So it's currently 2 in the morning right now. It literally just struck 2 in the morning, and my voice hurts. So I might do one for the Disney Channel Iceberg, but I don't know. Just let me know if you want to see something like that. It actually took me a while to make this video. It took me like a few months because I was just like, I'd work on it for a bit and then I'd stop. And then I'd work on it again and then I'd stop. So, but yeah, just let me know if you want to see like a Disney Channel Iceberg or even a Disney Iceberg, or if you even want to see any more of these Iceberg videos. I know that this is kind of like a bit of an old trend, an older trend, if you will. But I do like these videos. It's a good way to get a lot of information condensed down. Well, not really condensed down since this video is probably going to be over an hour long. But, like, yeah, if you want to see a Disney Channel Iceberg video, just let me know so we can finish up the trio. But we'll have to see since it's starting to get a bit old and drawn out. But anyway, thank you for watching. I love you all. And I will see you later.